Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I'll pop.
Hey team, this is Nathan from RunDreamAchieve.com. Hope you're all having a great week of training. Today's topic, I wanted to go over a question that I was asked by Operation Darthstorm, and it was in reference to the recent video I made about how to break a 2:55 marathon. And his question was, what are the corresponding mile, 5K, 10K, and half marathon times that typically correspond to a sub 2:55 marathon or sub 3-hour marathon? So this video is, what is a 2:55 marathon equivalent to? Like I mentioned before, running a sub 2:55 marathon, you have to be in phenomenal anaerobic shape. We all know that. You have to hold 640 per mile for 26.2 miles in order to run a 2:54.59. But what are the corresponding times that are equivalent to a 2:55 marathon? I always talk about in other videos the importance of working on your leg speed, your raw leg speed, because regardless if you're more of a middle to long distance runner, we always can work on our overall leg speed. And at the end of the day, it's about pace sustainment. So if you're not training sufficiently well below your goal race pace, or at your race pace, or even near your race pace, you're just building endurance. You're not building strength and stamina. So definitely working on those events that are going to be the shorter events, the mid-distance events, where you're working on your leg speed and improving your body's VO2 max capability. You're improving your lactate tolerance by training at paces that are significantly faster than a sub 2:55 marathon. And it's always important to work on those shorter distances, so that again you're working on your leg speed, you're building your confidence, and that's very, very critical when it comes to running long distance races. So the equivalent times to run a sub 2:55 marathon, a half marathon comes out to 1:23.53, 15K 58.16, which comes out to 6:15 per mile or 3:53 per kilometer. 10 kilometers you need to aim at running around 37:55, which is 6:06 mile pace. Again, or 3:47 per kilometer. So again, that's much, much faster than you're planning on running the marathon at. If you're trying to break 2:55, again, you need to hold 6:40 per mile or 4:08 per kilometer. So running these shorter distances at paces that are much, much faster is going to, again, make that sub 2:55 marathon race pace feel more like a tempo run, an aerobic threshold effort, rather than a VO2 max effort where you're running at significantly higher heart rates at closer to maximum heart rate. And you're obviously not going to be able to sustain that pace for very long. We can only handle VO2 max efforts for really a few seconds to a few minutes. So improving at the shorter distances is key. A half marathon in 1:23.55 or 6:24 per mile or 3:59 per kilometer for 21.1 kilometers is the equivalent of a 2:54.59, 10K in 37.55, a 5K in 18.17, running 3 miles in 17.37, a 2 mile in 11.24, a 3K in 10.34, and running the mile in 5:20. So, and I was recently asked that question as well by another viewer who said, how fast do I have to run the mile in order to run a 2:55 marathon? You don't necessarily have to run a mile be able to run a mile in 5:20 in order to run a 3:54.59 marathon. I mean, there's marathoners out there that can run a mile in just under 6 minutes that can go and run a 2:55 marathon. There are some athletes that are just built for longer distances, and they're not very strong. They're not as strong in the middle distances like the mile or the 3K, but they're extremely strong, and they're just better suited for the marathon distance or the half marathon distance. So the key thing to keep in mind when you're preparing for your races, especially the marathon and trying to break a 2:55 marathon, is improving your body's lactate tolerance and working on your speed and working on those weak points in your preparation. Obviously paying attention to all the other fundamentals that are critical to running a great marathon time, and that's building your endurance, being patient in the process, not trying to rush your fitness level. It's going to take time and effort to run this fast, and it's critical to continue to focus on your speed development. I always talk about doing 1 VO2 max workout per week. The types of workouts that I did over the years to eventually run a 2:19 marathon was repeat 800s on the track. That might have been 10 to 12 800 meters, repetitions anywhere from 2:15 to 2:17 on the track with about a minute to 90 seconds rest in between each rep. Doing 5 to 6 1-mile repetitions, anywhere from 444 to 450 per rep, with about 90 seconds rest to 2 minutes rest. Obviously, earlier on in my training prep, I would give myself about 4 minutes rest between each 1-mile repetitions. And then as I got fitter, I would lower that recovery in between each one of those repetitions. So that's the key. You want to allot sufficient time for your body to adapt to the hard training you're doing, preferably 3 to 4 weeks in between. So focus on one specific effort. It might be doing repeat miles. If you're going for a sub 240, a sub 254 marathon, it might be 6 1-mile repetitions at the beginning of your training phase at around 6:15 to 6:20, and then focusing as you get fitter and you become more anaerobically fit, focusing on doing those mile repeats, say at like 5:45 to 5:50 per rep. Okay, so again, it's critical to continue to work on your speed and to get that race pace to feel more like a moderate effort for you. And again, you can't be in a rush and don't expect quick results. It's absolutely essential that you maintain focus, maintain enthusiasm for what you're doing. Don't lose sight of the fact that you're trying to go after a time that is extremely competitive. There are many athletes around the world that would love to own a 2:54:59 marathon, be a sub 2:55 marathoner. And so it's very important to work on those shorter distances. And if you're one of those athletes such as Operation Darkstorm, who's, wanting to focus on, and he says, I would like to work on those middle distance times that do correspond to a sub 3 as I train. So in this case, we're focusing on the sub 2:55 marathon and what types of times you need that are equivalent to a sub 2:54 marathon. And again, it's a half marathon in 1:23:53, 15K in 58:16, 10K 37:55, 5K in 18:15. Your 2-mile needs to be right around 11:24, and the mile in 5:20. Again, this isn't set in stone. If I pull up my personal best for the marathon, 2 hours, 19 minutes, and 35 seconds, and you can pull this up yourself on runsmartproject.com. They have a running calculator. That comes out to, my personal best comes out to 5:19 per mile or 3:18 per kilometer. That being said, the equivalent times of a 2:19:35 is a half marathon in 1:06:35. Okay, I never ran 1:06:35 for the half. I ran 1:07:06. Let's see how the others compare. It's pretty close though. The 5K equivalent is 14:32. My personal best is 14:18. 2-mile is 9:01. My personal best is 9:27. Let's see what else here. The mile is equivalent to is 4:13 for the mile. My personal best is 4:22. So it's relatively close. And looking at the types of times you need to be thinking about to go after your specific time. But just know that this, there's no running calculator online that can measure mental power and your mental tenacity. So this is just an estimate giving you an idea of the types of times you need to be thinking about if you want to run your specific goal marathon time. In this case, if you're trying to run 2:54:59, you need to be able to run right around a 1:23:46 for the half, right around 58:11 for 15K, right around 37:51 for 10K, right around 11:23 for 2 miles, and being able to run a mile in around 5:20. So I hope this answers your question. Operation Darkstorm, love the name, but that's the key. I mean, it doesn't matter what type of race distance you're going after. You always want to work on your leg speed. Okay, so again, you want to get that goal race pace you're going for to feel more like a moderate effort, so you can sustain that race pace longer than your competition, that you can handle higher amounts of lactic acid buildup, and to be able to teach the body to clear lactic acid faster than it's building up. So I hope this video is helpful for you. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. Like and share this video if you can. I'd really appreciate it. It helps the channel grow and more athletes around the world to see these videos. I have a new merch store. I got a new shirt on here, Fast Don't Lie. It comes from a YouTube skit by Slim Chin, Beast from the Far East. If you do a YouTube video search for Slim Chin, you'll find that, and me and my nephew Brock, we get a kick out of that video. So I made a shirt with a golden jet ski, and if you want to know more about the story behind that, I'll leave the link to that video of Slim Chin below in the description below, so you can get an idea of why it says Fast Don't Lie, and with a golden jet ski on my shirt. But if you want to check out this shirt or any of our new merch, definitely check out RunDreamAchieve.com. And we have new designs just about every week that are being added to that merch store. So again, if there's anything else I can help you all out with, leave me a comment section in the comment section below and let me know. And I look forward to hearing about your new personal best, and I will talk to you all in the next video.